Before I met my husband, I had a list of what I thought I wanted in a man, and after a year of actually dating, meaning going out and meeting different guys, I threw most of that list away. I just tossed it, and that discovery just changed everything for me. Hi, my name is Charity Wamboi Kavanagh, and I am a life dating and love coach to high achieving single women over 40. And welcome to my life. So, when I was in my passive waiting phase, and if you don't know my story, just scroll on the feed. I have given my story so many times. I have a book, Finding Your Mr. Right, that you can read. But basically, I was passively waiting for love. I didn't go out on dates for almost 10 years. And I just had the belief that love was going to find me when the time was right. And so I got into my 30s, loveless, dateless, and all that. I've shared that story. And then I gave myself permission to date. So when I was in my passive sort of waiting phase, I had what, you know, like most women do, which is a prospect list. So you sit down and say, okay, what do I want in a man? And then you have a list of all these attributes that you think that you believe that you want. Physical attributes, professional status, maybe even spiritual credentials, height, income, basically a checklist that would have eliminated most good men before I even had a conversation with them. So when I started actually going on dates, I noticed that the men who seemed to tick every box were not necessarily the men I felt good around, and the men who lit me up, the men who made me feel safe and seen and genuinely happy. They would often not have attributes of my old list. And a close friend gave me some advice and say, instead of listing the attributes you want, you know, describe, identify how you want your love life to actually feel. And when I did this exercise, three things came to the top. I wanted to feel that I was with a generous man, and then I wanted a man who had a growth mindset, and I wanted a man of his word. And those were the three things that mattered to me, not necessarily the traits that I had identified that kept me paralyzed before I started actively dating. And of course, these three things is what made Michael stand out the most of all the men that I met. He had the highest sort of expression of those three things that I wanted to experience in abundance. Now, of course, as a certified dating coach, I understand now that what I was actually trying to define for myself is my relationship requirements. This means like how I want my relationship dynamic to feel like, and how I wanted it to be. And I've done videos about, you know, what are relationship requirements, what are they not. So you can just scroll on my feed if you want to be able to see that. But what is the lesson? What is the lesson that I'm trying to convey across? The long, detailed, rigid lists that you have, that I had, did two harmful things. It filtered out good men based on some surface criteria before before I even got to know them. And it's often that list, I built it on fear. It's like fear is the one that driving it, right? And trying to, like, it's almost like I was trying to guarantee an outcome and control something that I can't control. And I know many of you ladies do this, right? Your list is based on it's almost based on what you don't want versus either what you want, or it's just sort of fear driven. Now, real clarity says, here's who I am, here are my values, and here's how I want the relationship dynamic to feel like. And this is what I want my relationship to feel like. And these are the pillars that are requirements for my relationship to work and to be successful for the long haul. So from that place, you are able to attract very, very differently, right? So you can't attract what you are not. I'm going to repeat that. you cannot attract what you're not, but sometimes we are not even aware of what it is that we want. So the gap here is to work on yourself, and the quality of men you attract will shift, not because you became somebody else, but because you came back to yourself. You fully discovered yourself, and you were able to articulate what you want your relationships to feel like. Okay. And if this is starting to resonate with you, if this is starting to make sense, and if you're starting to connect the dots, I would love to invite you for a free discovery call. And here we can talk more about what's worked in the past and what you need to do differently. The link is in my bio or in comments. And continue following me, and I will see you in a few days or next week. Hi again, my name is Charity Wabwe Kavanaugh, and I'm a life dating and love coach to high achieving single women over 40, and I look forward to getting to know you more. All right, thanks, and see you next time.